What's up, guys? Welcome to Box Football, and we are here today with a podcast. Now, we haven't done a podcast in probably a year, Jack. When I think about it, we've done it here or there, like long videos, but an actual podcast. This is our first one in a while, and there was just this week. Last week there's just so much football going on, so many crazy stuff, and especially comes to the end of the season we couldn't cover it in multiple videos. I thought we'd just sit down, have a nice general talk about football and just the madness that's gone on this whole week and so much stuff to cover. The one thing I'm going to tell you guys, I'm very tired. Like I've had a long day. I've been to schools. I've been coaching. I don't know how you've been today, Jack.
Dude, I can't really say the same. I'm tired because I've not been doing anything. You know that whole thing when if you don't have stuff to do in the day, you're tired, and it's like I shouldn't be tired, but that's why I've kind of like, got a cup of coffee here. Like, I'm ready. I'm settling in.
Listen, that's just like me most days. I'm busy like a few days. But let's get into the football, Jack, and let's talk about the FA Cup final. Leicester City won their first FA Cup in what 137 years or like 27 years, something like that.
Right.
Congratulations to Leicester beating Chelsea 2-1. Wembley, great scenes. Yuri Tillemans with absolute screamer to give Leicester the title. What does that like? What does it mean overall? For you, Leicester winning.
Uh, First of all, it's a fantastic story, and Leicester City Football Club deserve so much credit for their coaching, their recruitment, the spirit of the club. Um, if any team could handle just kind of an outlier of success like their title win, they have handled that so well. They didn't just win the league and then fall off a cliff. They put good, smart plans in place to have a team that can still compete, that can challenge for top four, that can challenge for domestic cups. Signings like, Yuri Tielemans is, I think, a fantastic example of a player who, I'm sure he had better clubs, like bigger clubs coming in for him, but he made the decision to go to Leicester because I'm sure they said to him, look, if you go to one of these big clubs, you'll be a sub, your career will kind of stall a little bit, you'll have another move, and that'll just be your career. At our club, you're going to be a huge part. We're going to develop you. You're going to be better and better. And then when the time comes and a big club comes in for you, as long as we get the right money, we'll let you go. And I think that's the kind of thing we're probably going to see from Tielemans. And it's actually quite a kind of a good general story that he was the one who scored the goal, because I think he really sums up the model and the success that Leicester have had over this time period.
Wow, to think that this team in the last 5 years have been able to win a Premier League title, now FA Cup, and be in the Champions League, have all these players. It's crazy. I've seen this on Twitter is that Leicester City is what Tottenham were meant to be. And that's basically it. You know, Tottenham were meant to have all the success, the FA Cup, all the Jamie Vardy was meant to be the Harry Kane, all that sort of stuff. But it's Leicester that's doing it. And
Right.
to me, I'm so happy that we see a new fresh face winning it. And Leicester City, they embody to me everything good about football. I know like all the big clubs and like we used to see Arsenal, Chelsea's winning, but to see a team like Leicester have a mediocre rise and did what they did in 2016 and now where they are today, Jack, usually when that happens is after they won a title, you're expecting this huge dip and they were going to go down and probably get relegated. They've stayed consistent throughout this time, being a challenging and threatening to break into the Champions League. They probably might get it this year. Let's see what happens there. But to me, like we talk about top six, Leicester are a top six team now. To me, I think
Well,
they've
well, Jay,
won enough and they've done enough in that time to be a top six team.
well, this is the thing, and you raised the point. What am I super critical of, especially over this European Super League stuff? I talk to you that it's not competitive. And what I mean by that is not different winners, because if the different winners are always the same names, then I don't want to hear it. That's why this top six that everybody talks about, okay, you can take the mick out of a Tottenham or an Arsenal for being included in that, but there's a reason why they're there, because they're always there or thereabouts. Historically, I think we've seen a team of Leicester's ilk kind of make a break in because a manager has a good idea and they've got one good team for 1 year and then they fall off. This is a team that is here to stay. They sell an N'Golo Kante and they're fine. They sell a Riyad Mahrez, they're fine. They sell a Harry Maguire, they're fine. They're here to stay. Coaching's fantastic. It's funny you bring up Tottenham, because who's been linked to the Tottenham job, over the last week or so? Brendan Rodgers.
But to me, I look at this from this point of view. There have been a few teams who've threatened the years but haven't gone that far. Everton have been threatening for the past 20 years. They haven't done enough. They haven't won in that time. Aston Villa were a team who threatened when they had Gabby Agbonda Hall, Ashley Young, and like Gareth Barry, them guys there, but didn't take that final step. Tottenham, they're the exact same thing, been threatening. Leicester are a genuine threat to the big guys. Of course, Man City, it's now a big five. Leicester, to me, are like the one that you have to look at right now and be like, they actually could be considered a big six team. And I know people are going to say Tottenham there because they have been in the Champions League for a number of years, but success is, to me, also winning trophies. That's the main thing, and they haven't done that. So it's an interesting one. There was something
James,
else I was going to bring up.
Okay, I'll hope if it's important, it will come back.
It was important, but I totally forgot it when I was talking about that. But you just carry on.
But I think what this proves, though, James, is that unfortunately, the relationship between success and money is undeniable. But what I think this proves is that even teams with money, Leicester are outperforming some of these teams. The recruitment department the coaching, the management, the players. The whole way that the club is run, Leicester with a lesser budget are outperforming these teams. Now, the point you raised with Tottenham is Tottenham did that for a long time. Tottenham were unbelievable based on how much money they had and had spent and all this kind of stuff. Fantastic. But they didn't get it done at the end. Leicester have silverware. They've got it.
It's no one can won. The FA Cup and Premier League, I'm sorry, I know Arsenal won 4 FA Cups in that time, but would you take an FA Cup and the Premier League instead of 4 FA Cups? I'm taking it. Right. But the one thing I'm going to say to Leicester, in the thing that might hinder them the most, is that because they're not a big dog, their players would feel that, I get it, Leicester's cool, but they're going to want that bit of ambition to do more. Leicester could be, to me, an AS Monaco. Do you remember when Monaco had Mbappe, Thomas Lemar, Bernardo Silva, what a team. We're not talking about Bakayoko, but what a team that they have.
He was good at Monaco.
He was good at Monaco, but what the rest of it was a bit mad. But Leicester right now have players that teams want. Wilfred Ndidi, teams are going to want him. Yuri Tillemans, teams are going to want him. James Maddison, teams are going to want him.
Here's why I think they've killed it. And there's a bit of luck here too. We keep talking about all these guys who are ready to sell players, right? Because they're in trouble. Real Madrid have put half their squad on the transfer list, right? Barcelona are willing to sell half their squad as well. Juventus are willing to let half their squad go, right? But the thing is, there aren't that many buying clubs knocking around. And if there are any of these bigger teams who are buying clubs in this coronavirus financial market, it's probably going to be one big marquee signing, right? I saw this report recently that was today, actually, from Spain, where it's going to be one of Haaland or Mbappe. Chances are it's going to be Mbappe going to Real Madrid. And then Haaland is happy to wait one more year because Dortmund have remained in the Champions League. He's happy to wait a year, and then he'll go to Real Madrid next year. Now, I don't know if Real Madrid are going to be able to sell all these players for somebody like an Ndidi, a Maddison. It's just an example, because we'll come on to Harry Kane, I'm sure, in a second and touch on him. But with all the money that these bigger, better players are having, if Leicester can just say, hey, look, nobody's really offering you what you want, why not just stay with us for another year? We can keep the success rolling. And the thing is, James, and I'll stop talking in a second, the moment they sell these players, you can guarantee it's a profit. And as far as I'm concerned, the last 5 years, every single time a new person has come in after James, they lost Harry Maguire. It's a world record fee for a centre-back. Soyuncu and Fofana, and nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. It's the exact same. Riyad Mahrez goes. They haven't really missed him in an offensive sense, I wouldn't say. N'Golo Kante, all these guys are replaceable. And I'm not trying to take that away from them. I'm trying to give props to Leicester for how they've dealt with it.
But let's just move on and talk about the cup final a bit more. Now, I want to talk quickly, just a brief one on Chelsea. Are you a bit worried now? That's 2 losses on the trot now. Where moving to the FA Cup final and top 4, Chelsea could have a season where they don't get the top 4 and they also don't get Champions League. I mean, they don't win the Champions League and don't get top 4. It could be a failure of a season.
It could. I would say purely by the law of averages and also Leicester's remaining games, and I'm sure maybe this will be our way of getting on to talking about the Premier League a little bit, but I still believe, and I'm sorry, Leicester fans, but I think you shot your load, so to speak, for the FA Cup. I think Chelsea will finish 3rd, and I think Liverpool will finish 4th. Now, not to take away anything from Leicester's season, but in terms of the ambition of the club and them wanting to maintain where they're going, they would probably want the finances of finishing in the top 4. So going back to what you're talking about, Chelsea, yeah, I think Chelsea will make top 4. Now, losing in the Champions League final, losing in the FA Cup final, regardless of the opponent, and making top 4, I think if you'd have given that to Frank Lampard at the beginning of the year before Tuchel, he'd have ripped your arm off. He'd have said, 2 finals and top 4, we've had a pretty good year. But from what we've seen, is it worrying? Yeah, I think it's worrying. And, James, we're not going to forget where this Chelsea team were at points over the course of the year. I mean, I don't know how you feel, but if behaviours like that start to slip in again, then, yeah, we could be looking at a really kind of poor end to the season for Chelsea.
I feel like Tuchel has came in and done such a good job that no matter what, it would be a failing based on what he's done. But also, I think it'll be a lot of optimism going into next season, looking at, okay, look at what we've done this year, without you coming in and having a full season to really understand these players. And even, I hate that word bringing in your own players, because the manager can't bring in all his players. Maybe 1 or 2 of players that he wants, maybe like Erling Haaland. Chelsea would be looking to win the league next year and challenge it in a Champions League again. But just a quick thing, VAR, did they mess up for the 2 goals? I mean,
but for me, they did, and I'll tell you why. And you tell me if you remember this. Do you remember the Thiago Silva handball in the first half?
No.
Okay, I believe it was down the right flank. Thiago Silva was covering.
Oh yeah. I think it was Jamie Vardy running after it, and then it hit off his arm. Yeah.
It hit his arm. He could do nothing about it. Nothing. It's this far away from him. He's not doing it intentionally. Hits his arm. Free kick. Now, it's not in the box. It's not in a particularly dangerous free kick decision. So we just go, oh, okay. Borderline something worse, because it was from. So yeah, it was from slightly further away, the Jose Perez one, and yeah, it hits his leg before it hits his arm. But for me, there's absolutely no difference between the 2 decisions. Yet one, you have given one way, the other you've not given the other way. Now, James, if they don't give the Thiago Silva one, I'm more inclined to be like, okay, cool, no worries, because they're refereeing the game in a similar way, in a similar fashion for a fair outcome. Now, do I think that handball was the sole reason why Yuri Tielemans hit that absolute screamer and it went in? That you could see the way the ball didn't move. It was such a pure strike. Like all credit to him. It's not like he, Jose Perez punched him the ball and then he was able to score a tap in. It was minor. But in terms of the rulings of the game and how they were ruling that game, if you're going to give the Thiago Silva one as a handball, you give the Jose Perez one as a handball. And that just takes it away from me ever so slightly. Final thing on VAR. Everybody watching, offside is a state. You are offside or you are onside, even if that's by a tiny, tiny amount. Yes, there have been mistakes, human error mistakes with the software and how it's being used. But for that goal, Ben Chilwell was offside. And I was watching the game with a Chelsea fan who said, how's he getting an advantage there? And what I'll always say is, where do you draw the line? And I'm pun intended, where do you draw the line? How far forward behind the last defender does Ben Chilwell have to be to have an advantage, even if he's that wide out? And my point is, it's impossible to draw a line. So you have to either be onside or offside. And it's very simple. And he was offside. He was offside.
My thing with the goal that was given for Yuri Tielemans, the problem is that throughout this whole season, we've seen some really, really, really legitimate goals get chalked off for the Mullers a handball. A player might fall on like to his elbow and it leads to a goal. It's like 10 seconds after that happens and the goal's been chalked off. I've seen Tottenham games, I think it was the Fulham one, where like the ball literally hits him like on his stomach. And it's not like the ball's going anywhere or like it changed direction. It just actually hit him there. But the goal wasn't given. The consistency level needs to stay the same. And that's my biggest problem with it. And that's where they messed up. Throughout this whole season, we've seen goals get chopped off on a number of occasions. And at the pitiful time, FA Cup final, they cannot mess up in that situation.
And James, IFAB changed the rules mid-season. Now, they haven't been implemented, but if you're a referee and you're being told mid-season, as the start of next season, these are the new rules on handball, which we're changing again, you're going to start mentally putting the framework in to go, okay, that's a handball, that's not handball. And you're probably going to change your decision-making because you don't want to have your final game of the season be one way and then totally change it for the next way. So the officiating is a huge problem. Yeah, again, another positive for me from what might have come of ESL. Maybe they could have tidied up some of these rules. But again, we're relying on people who have shown us no intent to make smart decisions with changes of the officiating. I'm all for VAR, but the problem is it's not being used appropriately. It really isn't. I still believe we're in a spot where having more right decisions than ever before. But the lack of consistency there, I mean, the Thiago Silva Perez thing is my biggest issue. That's all.
But we're going to move on. We're going to talk about the Premier League. Mainly the Premier League, to be honest, it's been dead. Like, what, the title race is already done. Even the relegation race is done. We already know who's going down. But the top four race is what we're looking at. And football just given us one of the most remarkable moments, I think, I've seen in years. I don't think I've seen it live, like a goalkeeper actually scoring. But yes, Alisson Becker in the 96th minute won the game for Liverpool. Not just an average game, but in a must-win game. Liverpool needed to win this game to have a chance of getting top four. It's now back in their hands. All thanks to Alisson Becker in one of the most remarkable moments. And it wasn't just like he headed the ball. What a header. He guided that into the top corner. It's wow. It's madness. Jack, what did you make of it?
I mean, he's looking like, he looks kind of like Peter Crouch up there, like he had some kind of proper technique to him. He threw himself into it. There was no, and one thing I'll always say that I'm hypercritical of commentators, and this is part of the reason why I watch a lot of football games on mute, because I don't want the commentators distracting me with their BS. Heading is hard. People at home watching, whenever a commentator, there's a header, right? And they go, they should do better there. Okay, a professional at the top of your game, maybe. But I'm telling you, have a mate of yours put in 20 crosses to you. And if they go to your head, tell me how many you actually score. Heading's hard, especially for a goalkeeper. It's an amazing finish.
But it's, to me, the crazy thing about goalkeepers low-key have technique. I've seen some goalkeepers score some, like, goalkeepers are crazy. To me, to just want balls to be blasted at you for your whole career, you're mad,
right?
But like, I've seen goalkeepers in this situation, they always fancy themselves. Oh, I can score a bicycle kick, I can do that. For him to come up and actually, when managers send goalkeepers up, they just send them up for the sake of just having numbers. It's not like he's really gonna score, just to have an extra body in there. But for you to send him up and he actually scores, you're thinking like, whoa, wow. And to do it when Liverpool needed the most, like, Liverpool this year, people talk about defensively that they've struggled. Offensively, that they've struggled. They have been horrendous going forward. Chance after chance, game after game, wave after wave, and it's just not been good enough from this Liverpool team. And to need the goalkeeper to bail them out, it tells you all they need to know. Secondly, Thiago Alcantara had a fantastic game yesterday. For all the Thiago haters right there, They
Yeah.
they go for that one. But it looks like Liverpool are in the ascendancy to get Champions League now if they don't mess it up. But looking at their fixtures, you know what Liverpool are like with the Leicester games are the ones that they're
Right.
more likely to mess up. To be fair,
Right. Right. I still maintain. I mean, I'm kind of looking at the fixtures here. Leicester going to Stamford Bridge tomorrow. That's going to be tricky. And then, obviously somebody's going to drop points. And then Liverpool are away at Burnley. And James, yeah, you're absolutely right. They can suffer in those games, but you'd put your money on Liverpool really to come away with a win. And then last game week, Leicester at home to Tottenham, who are going to, kind of have a point to prove. Maybe it's Harry Kane's last game for Tottenham. We don't know. I'm sure he'll have a point to prove there as well. And then looking at the other games, Chelsea, Aston Villa, and Liverpool, Crystal Palace. So unfortunately for me, I think it's beyond Leicester to do what they need to do, because it's either going to be Leicester Liverpool, in my opinion, or Chelsea Liverpool. I don't think Leicester or Chelsea are both in that thing, and it's purely because they play one another. And I'm just trying to work this out quickly, James. If they both draw, Leicester have 67 points, Chelsea have 65. So actually, if Liverpool win, they would go into fourth. And then obviously it would be within Liverpool's hands to retain top four. And Chelsea would be relying on winning the Champions League to be in it next year.
So there's a lot of mathematics to kind of work out there. Let's just let's just see what happens tomorrow. Just a quick congratulations to Man City. We haven't really done a video on them. It's been inevitable for a minute. They're champions. 3 titles in the last 4 years. Exceptional. Never really look at the start of the season. You didn't think that they were going to win it, but when they click into gear, Man City click into gear. 19, something crazy like that. They straight wins for them. They were on the verge of breaking a European record at a time. Just incredible for Man City.
Not invincible, though. That stretch was unreal. But we have to remember that stretch is only half a season. The other half of the season, it wasn't particularly pretty. So within those 19 games, they had 19 consecutive wins. And then if you take the rest of the other 19 games, there were 9 victories, 5 draws, and 5 losses. So it's not, that's not really kind of Champions form. I think Man City have been good, but I don't think they've been good enough competitors. I mean, to say that this Manchester United team are the ones that finished second with how horribly they started and some of the down notes of parts of their season, I think it proves to you that, James, we talked about it when we did Team of the Year. This has been a really kind of poor Premier League season across the board. I'm looking at, maybe we could say Leicester and West Ham have had good years, but apart from that, I mean, it's not particularly special.
It hasn't been amazing, but you can't take away the fact that Man City won the title. They are the best team in England right now. Congratulations to them. But I want to move on to Europe right now. Let's move over to La Liga. The madness has happened this week. We have the title race going on, and Atletico Madrid are leading the pack. And all they needed to do was to win the last 2 games. Who did they play on the weekend again?
Osasuna.
Okay, so they had Osasuna on the weekend. They went 1-0 down. But over on the other side, Real Madrid had Atletico Bilbao. They went 1-0 up. So that means Real Madrid would take the lead in the title race with 10 minutes to go. So Real Madrid were in the ascendancy going into the final game. Barcelona somehow messes up against Celta Vigo again, dropping 2 very vital games. The last one got 2-0 ahead, end up drawing 3-3, and this one against Celta Vigo, losing 2-1 after taking the lead. So they're completely out of the race now. But Real Madrid, with 10 minutes left, we're going to go into the final day of the season, top of the table, and only needing a win to win the title. But out of absolutely nowhere, Atletico Madrid in the death again, coming up trumps, getting an equalizer, and a late 87-minute goal from our man Luis Suarez has put them back in the ascendancy, needing a win in the final day to be crowned La Liga champions. Jack, the drama was just, I felt jealous because England haven't gave me this type of drama in a long time. But what did you think about this whole race?
This is what Luis Suarez was put on this earth to do, right? He was, if he was doing it to spite Barcelona, I think that would be kind of an even crazier story. But it's almost kind of cool in its own way that it is against Real Madrid. It is against kind of the rivals for the team where he had most of his success, right? I think Atletico Madrid have kind of wrapped this up. And what I mean by that is, yeah, they've got Valladolid on the final day and Real Madrid have Villarreal. And that's an Unai Emery team. They're preparing for big games. They're preparing for Manchester United in the Europa League final. So they're going to be in kind of a headspace of being really ready to go. And Atletico Madrid will know what they need to do to just get the job done. One thing I'll bring up though, James, and I know we've kind of talked about this, kind of off air, so to speak, not on video, but does it make you feel like it would be cool to have like a playoff system? Even for like James, even if it was second and third play each other, and then the winners meet whoever they play in like a final. Because to me, I agree with you. Like, this is sick from Spain. I love it. And same for PSG, like credit where credit's due. Sorry, PSG from the French league, like credit where credit's due. But it would just be, I think, really cool. Like, imagine if Man City do all this work and then they lose in the final to Leicester or Manchester United, for example.
I'm just not on this American American playoff type thing. I like the way the league is right now. I don't think it's completely over because Atletico, they don't convince me. They don't make me feel like, oh, it's like it's a shoo-in. There's a reason why this game came to the wire. Atletico just don't look like the team that just know how to get it done at this moment in time. But again, Valladolid have something to play for. If they lose, they get relegated. And the rumor is that they might get R9 is their chairman, so he might get on the treadmill. We might get to see one of the goats play. But again, they should go on to win the title. The question is, like, do they have the ball? Because generally, at this stage, it generally comes down to your ball, to that bit of composure, and Atletico this season, they've bottled it a lot this season. If they fall at the final hurdle, it is going to be worrying. But who are you backing in the final day?
I'm gonna back Atletico Madrid. I'm gonna back them to win by 1 goal. I don't think they're gonna blow anybody out. I'm actually just checking here because I know João Felix has not done what I think people have wanted him to do. I mean, look, James, I'm not trying to dismiss Luis Suarez's quality as a footballer, like no way. But to rely on a 34-year-old Luis Suarez to score 20 goals this year for you, not ideal. Marcus Llorente's chipped in with 12, and João Felix.
Marcus Llorente's been amazing.
Yeah, he has been, but
Yannick Carrasco.
Yeah, he's been good in terms of like assists and stuff. But João Felix, it's not. I think that was the Griezmann replacement they wanted, and I just don't think he's lived up to it. He's 21 now. I'm not going to pretend to put pressure on a 21-year-old, but it's like, you cost so much money. Like, we need to start seeing something, over the next couple of years, or else it's been a bit of a flop, really.
Again, I wanted to go right to the wire. Whoever wins it. At this moment in time, I would like Real Madrid to win it because I don't know what's going to go on with Zidane and everything like that. Like, is he going to go? Is he going to stay? That there's rumors talking about Allegri going to be the next manager, but we'll see with that.
Supposedly Raul as well has been mentioned, and obviously, but this is the interesting thing, James. Any manager change or any we're back in the manager, they always talk about a squad turnover, and to turn over a squad, you need to actually have people want to buy the players that you're trying to sell. And it's not going to be that kind of summer transfer window. It's just not. Teams do not have the money to buy at these big costs.
I mean, if Arsenal, we will take Varane and give us if Benzema, give us Benzema. I'm a huge fan of Benzema. But I just want to touch on a quick thing, and that's over in the Bundesliga. Robert Lewandowski has equaled Gerd Mullers, I don't know what year, 50-year record of scoring 40 goals in one Bundesliga season. He has one more game left to actually beat the record, but he's equaled it. Jack, how amazing of an achievement is this from Robert Lewandowski?
Yeah, I mean, crazy. I mean, you have to consider as well that Robert Lewandowski was not a superstar out the gate. This guy didn't debut in senior football. Like, James, I don't know if you had the FIFA. I think it was 11 or 12. Might have even been FIFA. No, I think it was FIFA 11 or 12. Anyway, Robert Lewandowski, to get him into your Borussia Dortmund lineup, you had to take off the Paraguayan guy, Lucas Barrios, and put this guy who was rated I think it was 73 or something, this Polish guy called Robert Lewandowski, to come into your team. And I think even at that point, I want to say that he was in kind of his early 20s. Like, this wasn't some 17, 18-year-old who broke out and just dominated. There has been clear progression from this guy, from working hard, training hard. You never hear a bad story about Lewandowski, consummate professional, and he's worked at his craft. I think a lot of the things that are being lost now for number nines, and the reason why a lot of number nines, there's not a great market for fantastic strikers at the moment, is modern day players, I think, lack the discipline to play number nine. And it's not just stick your best player up front so he can score goals. Number nine's a hard position to play. That's why we're seeing a lot of talented kids play this kind of wide forward position, because they can have a chance to run and play. It's very difficult playing with your back to goal as a striker, and it's a skill that Robert Lewandowski has down to a T right now.
Robert Lewandowski is, to me, silk as a striker. Not everything you want as a striker, but as a technician of a striker, one of the best ever. He can do it all. Back towards goal, he can hold it up. He can turn, he can drive it. Players headed, left foot, right foot. In the box, he is completely lethal. And I thought he was great at Borussia Dortmund. But since he's joined Bayern Munich, every single year, he has gotten better and better and better. And I didn't think it was going to get better than last season for him. He's taken his game to another level this year. 40 goals in a 34 game season that he's missed. Remember, he was missing for a few weeks, and he's still managing to break this record. Astonishing. I do expect him to actually maybe get 1 or 2 in the final day. I would love to see it. He is Mr. Bundesliga. He is perhaps the best striker to play in the Bundesliga,
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with you there. And I think
Gerd Muller would be like, James.
Gerd Muller's pretty good. But I think, the thing I look at is the players that he's fought off to have that kind of right in that position. You think about a Mario Gomez, right? Or Muller was playing a lot further forward earlier in his career. And then you look at a Mario Mandzukic, those kinds of players. James, if I were to ask you now, who's the third choice striker for Bayern Munich, or even the second choice striker? You know what I mean? They can rely on him so much that they don't even really bother spending that much money to have a deputy there to fill in for him.
And the injury that he got, majority of players are probably done for the majority for the season. He came back quick, and he's scoring goals quick. But Lewandowski, congratulations to him. I love to see him go on and break the record. And guys, if you want, we might do a top 5 or top 10 strikers list this season. If you guys really want to, let us know. But let's move on to Serie A, Jack, and let's talk about what's happened there. So the title race is done and dusted, but this top 4 race has just been absolute madness. Juve, who have dominated Serie A for the last 9 years, winning 9 straight titles, they're not going to win it this year. But they might not even get Champions League football this year, Jack. Final day of the season is going to be a madness. So they go into the final day needing a win and hoping that Milan or Napoli mess up so they can somehow sneak in through the back door. But what a madness. First of all, let's talk about the Juve Inter Milan game. Jack, is it me, but there is a problem with the refereeing in Serie A? Because
yeah, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Last year, a record number of penalties were given in Serie A. Ronaldo obviously got his fair share. So is Immobile. They got their fair share of penalties, but the referees are trigger friendly. All they want to do is give a penalty. As soon as they hear go to the monitor, you just know it's going to be a penalty. I seen some 3 or 4 contentious penalty decisions. Now, the Cuadrado penalty, I'm sorry. If any referee can stand there and tell me that that's a penalty, there's something wrong with you. The Napoli one, the penalty that was given in the Napoli game when they both tugged on each other, but because one player goes down, you give a penalty. Now, Italy
Right.
have been known for their scandals back in the day. Surely there got to be something going on here, because Jack, I see penalties given away for just passing gas, sneezing. It's a madness. It's a madness. It, honest to God, it's a madness.
What I'll say is, yeah, it is bad. But I would also say that largely refereeing is bad at the moment. And what I mean by that is, with the extra angles that we have, with replays, with slow-mo, with all this tech that we have to see things, it's all things that in the kind of the heat of the moment, refs don't have access to. Now, we can counter that by saying, well, they have a chance to review it. That's what, video assistant is for. Like, they're reviewing it and they can be told these things. But I think the problem is, James, you've got this beyond reasonable doubt type thing going on, right? So the point being, if they've made a decision straight away, how it lines up with the rule book. And slow-mo helps nobody. Like, I guarantee you those decisions, the ref in his head is going, was contact made? Even if it was slight, he's going, yep, contact was made, therefore it's penalty. That's my justification. And it's like, well, that's not the way we want the game to be played. There's always a split between the spirit of the law and the letter of the law. I'm personally big on the spirit of the law. That's what I would personally prefer. Like, for example, you score a winner or to go ahead in extra time, you're on a yellow card, you take your shirt off because you're celebrating with your family, you get sent off. I don't rate that. If you're 5-0 up and you take your shirt off, yeah, book that guy. That guy's an idiot, whatever. But there's a certain level of you have to take into account the context of the game, what's going on. And yeah, James, 3 penalties and 2 red cards in that game. Get out of here. We don't want to see. I mean, it was exciting, but we don't want to see that all the time.
Oh, listen. It was the craziest thing. I think Pirlo saved his ass, taking off Ronaldo, and then them still going on to win the game. I do understand that they do have a man down. Also, Ronaldo probably was Steven to know that they had a penalty and he wasn't on the pitch to take it.
Yeah.
But damn, final day. First of all, AC Milan mess up, drop points against Calgary. To be fair, they should have lost against Calgary.
Right.
Donnarumma made one hell of a save to keep him in it. But
his stock is just going up and up. And the longer that Çalhanoğlu and Donnarumma don't sign these new Milan contracts, there's a European Championship coming up where I think Italy actually playing the first game in Rome. And Çalhanoğlu, we know about his ability. So Milan have to be careful here because they could lose 2 of their better players on free transfers.
I wouldn't be surprised, but final day of the season. So I think Juve have Verona. We don't know what could happen there. AC Milan, who could have qualified with a win, go away to Atlanta, but Atlanta already qualified.
So Juve have Bologna away at Bologna.
Okay, away at Bologna.
And Bologna is safe. They're not going to be going down. So I think what's going to happen, and it's kind of tricky, but I have a kind of a gut feel that Juve are going to win. And I think Milan won't get the win over Atalanta. That would be my guess. Now, they might do, but I'm pretty sure Zlatan's not playing, right?
I think Zlatan's done for the Euros. He's not even going to make the Euros, Jack.
So I don't know, man. It points to me that I think Juve are going to sneak in through the back door here.
But even then, Juve haven't been good enough to think that they haven't been good enough to win the league. Forget about the league, not even make top 4. The stock of this team was dropped, and you're looking at a manager like Pirlo. You're thinking really, there's a reason why,
I don't want them to win. I don't want them in the top 4. I want them out of Champions League because I want Pirlo to be sacked. I don't care. It goes against everything that I stand for in terms of meritocracy in football that Andrea Pirlo got this job. He shouldn't have gotten the job in the first place. I want them to not make top 4 because then the likes of an Aaron Ramsey will leave. The likes of a Ronaldo will leave. The guys on these kind of bloated contracts will be kind of forced to leave for lesser deals just so Juve can kind of save their asses. Remember, this is also one of the 3 teams that have doubled down on the European Super League. So, I want them to kind of have what's coming to them here. But I just look at that Atalanta-Milan game and Milan will be the more...
I do expect Napoli to win. So it seems like it's going to be down to that game. And like the one thing I've learned about AC Milan in the last 7 years is that they are bottle jobs, and
Yes.
they haven't been in the Champions League for 7 years now, and there's a reason why behind that. We're not talking about like an average team. AC Milan are perhaps one of the greatest teams of all time. 7 Champions Leagues to their names, and for a team not to be in the Champions League for the last 7 years is a travesty. But the DNA in the last 7 years just tells me that it's going to be a bottle job. But let's see. I would love to see them win, but have a Champions League without Cristiano Ronaldo will be the weirdest thing ever. But
again, quickly, just another I cannot give enough praise to Gasperini and Atalanta. It's another league where they have the most goals again by a solid margin. Okay, they didn't win, but obviously they don't have the defensive side of their game to do that. What Gasperini has been able to do with this group of players, and the thing is, James, they lose players every year. They lose players every year, starters every year. And Gasperini is always capable of bringing them on and doing things. If I'm Tottenham, or if I'm Leicester, if Brendan Rodgers goes or anything of that nature, Gasperini's your guy. Gasperini's your guy to bring in. I mean, it's just fantastic to watch. And the way the goals are spread around the team, the fluidity, quick transition, it's just great football.
To be fair, he's done an amazing job in the last few years, and even this season where we were kind of criticizing them, where they're going, finishing second in the league. For let's be honest, like Atlanta compared to the rest of the Italian giants, they're not really at that level going on historically. But as a team and as an overall club, what they've done, they've even lost their captain this year to be second in the table. Absolutely incredible. But let's touch on the final part. The final thing we're going to look at today is Liga, the Farmers League, as you guys know, but it's actually the interesting league because Paris Saint-Germain are actually not going to win a league based on what is happening so far there. So there's one game left. Lille are a point ahead and only need a victory in the final day of the season to be crowned Ligue champions. Now, it could have been virtually wrapped up for them if they would have won on the weekend, but they dropped points. But with a win against Angers will be the title. Is this a good thing for the French league or is it a bad thing?
This is the best thing that could possibly happen. I love this so much. And I'm going to talk about the boring stuff quickly so I can just get it out of the way. And obviously it kind of relates to Arsenal a little bit too, James. They're involved here. They have this guy called Nicolas Pepe. They sell him for a bunch of money. They bring in Osimhen. They sell him for a bunch of money, and they bring in like somebody like Burak Yilmaz who comes in and just fills in the gaps, gives the same kind of output.
But think about it. I bet Yilmaz played for Leicester. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
these are not world beaters. Renato Sanchez. These are players who have failed in certain in certain periods of their career, but they're coming right now, and all the stars are aligning for them to win another title. Like the last time they won was 2013 with Eden Hazard.
Sven Botman is being linked with a bunch of clubs. Renato Sanchez, funnily enough, is supposedly one of the 3 or 4 names that Jose Mourinho would like to bring to Roma. I would love Renato Sanchez playing. Sumare, I don't know if I just brought him up on or not. He's been fantastic. The goalkeeper, Mannion, has been really, really good as well. I really want them to win. It is the classic thing. All the games are being played at the same time. I do really like that. I think all that Lille need to do is block out all the noise, and they need to just go into the game going, we're playing a mediocre football team. We're top of the table. We should just go out and win this game. I think they should just go for it. What you don't want for Lille is to be in a position where it's 0-0 at like 70 minutes and PSG are already 4-0 up. That's what you don't want. You need to go first 15 minutes, score a goal, get comfortable, have Angers come out, break on them, and then just blow them out. You don't want that stress of the last 20 minutes.
I love how you mentioned that because I feel like every 10 minutes goes by without scoring, it gets more anxious and more anxious and more anxious to the point where the last 20 minutes it goes gun-ho, and not too many teams have the composure, especially like during them last 20 minutes where like it's like do or die. Teams I've seen, like, remember when Liverpool during like going for the title against Chelsea where they kind of like completely lose themselves in the last 20 minutes. That's what could possibly happen there. But PSG side of it, for them not to win the league, it just shows you like what's going on this year, like mentality wise, it's gone out the window. And it's the same on Pochettino's record if he doesn't win the league
For sure. I
with,
mean,
with,
well,
with
okay.
PSG.
Here's what I'll say. He took over with PSG not in a good place at all. So he took over at a disadvantage. Now, was it a major disadvantage? No. But he has come in. There's definitely some new styles going on. There's lots of outside things affecting what's going on at PSG. We cannot deny that Neymar's contract rumbling away, Mbappe's contract rumbling away. This is all stuff that's going to be impacting the players and how they're feeling about the game. You have to also keep in mind that this PSG squad is so much more talented than the other players in the other teams in the leagues that, yeah, it's very difficult to keep them focused because all they care about is the European competitions. And you've got to try and keep them focused in the league because it should be a given that they win the league every year, but you've got to try and keep them honest. Juventus, they've always kept their players honest. They always win. But, Bayern, I feel like we see a little too often with PSG, it's always closer than it probably really should be. James, just before I forget, because I just wanted to bring this up, Jose Font, I was watching the Lille game last night. Jose Font, right, has played with Toby Alderweireld, who was unreal, right, and then went on and had, I think, a very respectable Premier League career and a great career, well, not in terms of awards, but in terms of performances, a good career at Tottenham. He then played with Virgil van Dijk for a bit, right, before he went to Liverpool. He's now playing with Sven Botman. For Portugal, he plays for Ruben Diaz. Is Jose Font like the great tutor of our time at centre-back? Like, I mean, there's too many similarities there for centre-backs becoming great players from playing with Jose Font, no?
I mean, if that's the case, we have to sign that guy from Lille ASAP. Listen, I don't know about Jose Font being that guy, but it's just a coincidence he goes ahead and he's next to like great players who go on to be great defenders. But I'm going to end the podcast here. But the one thing I'm going to say, and one thing I've stayed consistent throughout this whole podcast, is it's how exciting football is in certain areas of it. Lille to win Ligue 1. Last time we've had something like that was AS Monaco, but PSG even got stronger since then. Atletico Madrid to win La Liga. How amazing is that? Borussia Dortmund winning what's it called? The German Cup. What's it called? What's the German Cup?
DFB Pokal.
Can't even pronounce that. But then winning that. Seeing Inter Milan winning Serie A. Incredible. Now Leicester City winning the FA Cup. Football isn't dead, guys. It's still competitive. It's still competitive at a high rate. And just seeing teams come up, we love it. Absolutely love it, Jack.
Just to say, because I love it just as much as everybody watching and just as much as James said. My only criticism of football, and I'm not forgetting about this just because the European Super League talk has died down a little bit. Yes, it's great to see Lille doing well. Yes, it's great to see Inter come back and do well. Yes, it's great to see Atletico Madrid. But what I want is Cadiz to be in the title run. I want Angers to be in the title run. I want Bologna to be in the title run. It's always, when it is competitive, it is always the same teams. I think it would be better if you could say that there are potentially 10 teams that could go up and win it, not just 2 or 3. That would be my only...
Jack, you're acting for too much right now. Angers and them guys, listen, we leave them where they're at right now. But guys, if you've been watching this, thank you so much. If you enjoyed it, please comment and let us know things that we've said. I can't even remember because we've been talking about so many things. Like what's going on? Leicester City, VAR, Chelsea fans, venture frustrations, City fans. Let us know. Liverpool, Alisson fans, come on. We got Atletico Madrid, Barcelona fans, Real Madrid fans, PSG, Lewandowski fans. I know I messed up with so many other things, but let us know, guys. Comments down below. Please hit Harry Kane, guys. Please hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching. This is Box to Box Football, and we will see you next time.